Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of this week's episode of Z Nation. This week we've seen Season 3, Episode 13, which was called Duel. And once in a while I still get confused on the episode numbers of this season. It kind of got mixed up with the, two-part premiere actually being like one full episode. I don't know, but the Wikipedia says it's episode 14 here, but then everywhere else it's saying it's episode 13. I don't know. But either way, you guys know, if you watched my review of last week's episode, I really liked last week's episode, the Siege of Murphytown. Of course, it's like seeing that Murphy and Warren conflict come to a head. Murphy and Warren actually getting on the same page to an extent, to go and find Lucy. Along with Citizen Z actually meeting some of our survivors finally. It was really one of the best of the season. But this week's episode, I might have liked it even more. And that is mainly because we got Addy at the forefront in this episode. Addison fucking Carver, man. She is the shit. Addy, she became my favorite character on the show a while ago. Murphy was my favorite for a while. But over time, Addy just really proved herself time and time again to me. I really like the work Anastasia Baranova does with her, in the role. And I really appreciated that the show gave her own episode here, basically. We've seen that Doc got 2 solo episodes this season. I love Doc, but an Addy solo episode is definitely warranted as well. And it really delivered. Of course, this had to do entirely with the chase between Addy and the man. Addy trying to catch up to the man, and them just sort of vying for Lucy's attention when they had to, as well as just trying to get her where they had to bring her. With the man trying to bring her to Zona, and then Addy wanting to get her back and use her to be a savior of humanity as they see it. And it turned into a really good episode. And what made it to me, though, before we talk about that, I do like Lucy. I'm sorry I don't know the actress's name who plays her, or who played the kid version of her, because we see her actually turn into a teenager in this episode, which is kind of funny. I do like the character, though. Some people might think it comes across as annoying, but I think it works pretty well. It stops with her just before it gets annoying, for me anyway. And I just liked how she sees Addy as her Aunt Addy and stuff. I like how she calls her that. But even with the man basically ended up having to try and talk to her like a strict parent, a strict dad or something like that. Just his tone with her is very parental, and even he realized he sort of had to communicate with her in that way, and I thought that was kind of fun to watch. So I liked all that, and we still don't know exactly why Lucy's morphing or aging so rapidly or growing up so quickly. But, it's Z Nation, and you combine that with, the zombie element, I guess anything can happen, right? So Lucy's now a teenager now. I wonder if they're going to keep her like that, or if they're going to have her, actually grow into an adult in the finale, or in Season 4 or something. But either way, I liked both the actresses that played her in this episode. I'm fine with the teenage one going forward. They did change actresses, right? Yeah, I think they did. It was, I could tell, but at the same time they still look similar, so that's good too. But yeah, what really made, we also had Doc on the trail as well, still on the bike and such. Addy leaving out trails for him, DXD, Delta X-Ray Delta. But yeah, anyway, the highlight of this episode, like I said, was Addy, Addison Carver. And what really brought this week was the fight scenes between her and the man. And Z Nation, they've been having some good fight scenes this season, from what we got with Vasquez and Hector, to everything with Warren and some of the stuff earlier on this season. Z Nation's been stepping up their game in terms of fight scenes, as well as Addy fighting one of the Enders, one of those savages in the woods. I thought that was really cool too. Just showing her how savage and raw she can be, and that fight felt very grounded too. I love that one. But these sequences her and the man had in this episode, I like the choreography to it. Of course, I know Anastasia Baranova has a stunt double, but either way, it just looked like her throughout, so that's good. And what I loved about it, the man, he's obviously quite a bit more trained, more technically skilled. But Addy, she's tough as nails, man. And she just kept on going and going, getting up and just, just like I said, going and going. And even when the man, I almost thought he actually broke her arm, but he may have just dislocated it. Even then, after getting beaten in and then her arm dislocated, she's still grabbing on his leg and trying to prevent him from taking off with Lucy. Addy, she's she's arguably the toughest character on the show, I think. Of course, you have Warren, who's also more technically trained and skilled and stuff, but I actually buy more into Addy's physical and mental toughness at this point, honestly. Just her willpower and determination, that little bit of heart, she musters up, as these fights happen. It's really cool to watch, and like I said, Anastasia Baranova does a good job with it acting-wise, and I just like how that was all portrayed in the fight scenes themselves. So they're brutal. It felt real, more real than you'd expect on Z Nation, so I really like that. But yeah, it was just a really, really good, I almost want to say fantastic episode, honestly. Although we got that, sort of that culmination with Warren and Murphy last week, I think I might like this episode just a bit more just because of how much I already liked Addy, and she got this whole episode, dedicated to her, just her willpower. I think it was an awesome one. But yeah, so I liked all the little moments too, like the man eventually going out to try and find Lucy chocolate. I almost didn't buy that the man would be so afraid of the zombies, though, so hesitant to, tangle with them. Because we've seen the man basically be a Terminator earlier on in the season. So I feel like you could kill, just 3 or 4 of the zombies within, 5-10 seconds or something, really. So I didn't really buy that the man would have as much of a difficult time with that as they're trying to imply, but, it's very, very minor nitpick there. So we also had Doc on the trail as well, and Addy, she just narrowly escapes this boat when it explodes. The man takes off with Lucy again. Lucy doing all these things to purposely stall and delay the man, which I thought was smart on her part as well. She's a clever one, just like her dad. And then we had him eventually end up in the woods. The man almost drowning Addy and such. Then her still eventually getting up and still heading right for the mission. And we see Doc and Addy reunite at the end of the episode. No words exchanged, no hugs. I would have liked to have seen a hug or something though. But Doc just seems like a little bit stunned by how bad her face looks. But there's no words, and they both just get in the truck and they just head off in the men's direction. But yeah, I really like this episode. I'm sure there's plenty of things that I forgot to talk about. The man couldn't find any chocolate though, but Addy did. She really savored that, which is good. So I wonder if Addy's going to be giving Lucy that chocolate next week. Who knows? But yeah, overall, I really like this episode. It might have been my favorite of the season, along with last week's episode. I just really enjoyed what they did with Addy in this one. Glad they don't kill her off. She's my favorite character. I also watched the Geeksiders review. They're a good couple of reviews, a bunch of different TV shows, and they mentioned that Addy, she's supposed to have that electrified Z-Whacker now, right? But why would she never activate that part of it? Why was she just using the base weapon without the electricity going through it? I don't know either, honestly, but really I think that's just something you should be able to overlook if you enjoy the show. I think this is a really good episode all around, with or without that. But yeah, she probably should have used electrified Z-Whacker, even if she used it and for some reason it didn't affect the man that much. Because we still don't know if he's some kind of cyborg or I don't know. But yeah, they probably should have done something to show why Addy wasn't using that or something. I don't know. But yeah, still really love the episode. I'm gonna give it right around 8.8, 8.9 out of 10. I gave the Siege of Murphytown 8.7. I like this one a little bit more, so 8.8, 8.9. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.